Good evening and welcome back. Attorney Jay Davis is here from James W. Davis and Associates for our It's the Law segment. We love having you every Wednesday.
It's great to be here, always.
Thank you. Well, today we're talking about former White House aide Omarosa Manigault-Newman. She is not backing down as she continues to release more secret recordings from the White House. We were just talking about this. And of course, the White House and the president, they are not backing down on this one. So I have two legal questions for you as we talk about this being all over the news. First, is it legal to secretly record people and conversations? What's the deal here?
Well, generally that varies from state to state. So exactly what you can do and can't do varies, and whether or not something is actually legal. There's a second thing is whether or not it can be legally presented as evidence. So sometimes you have an issue whether or not two people in a conversation are required to know that the conversation is being recorded in order to introduce it as evidence, or whether or not there's a clandestine microphone somewhere and you're recording somebody's business conversation that may not be appropriate. There could be some criminality type consequences, and not just whether or not you can get it in to a courtroom itself.
I know a lot of times if you're on the phone or even here in TV news, if you say like, hey, we are recording, by the way, or this is on the record. So in Georgia, can you get in trouble if you record someone?
Generally, you're not going to get in trouble with recording somebody that you're actually speaking with.
Okay.
If you're trying to record somebody, trying to record two other people's conversation, that can lead to a lot of problems. But generally, if you're recording your own conversation, you're probably not getting in trouble. And then whether or not it's going to be permissible to enter that if you're trying to make a lawsuit against somebody, that's going to be a second question that's going to go before the judge.
So you do need to keep this in mind.
But whether or not it's actually whether or not you've committed a crime is a different story. And I think with Omarosa, I think that's one of the issues. Did she commit a crime by taping this conversation? And the general consensus is probably not. In D.C., it's going to go by either local rules of D.C. or federal law is probably going to govern. And I don't think they're going to pick a law of that. It's more of a policy. And whether or not she violated policy, whether or not she violated terms of her agreement, that type of thing. And she's probably going to be in some trouble with violations, but that's not going to be the same thing as criminality.
All righty, got it. And so the president says Omarosa signed a non-disclosure agreement. Can she get in trouble here for doing what she's doing now?
Generally, with non-disclosure agreements, it's going to be a civil matter. It's going to be something where she's either going to have to pay a penalty, she's going to lose some sort of benefit she might have had, there's going to be, some sort of, what's the other side of that? We heard a lot of agreements that President Trump has had with various people and what they might have been not supposed to disclose. But those things they're sort of falling apart when somebody's president. People go, you know what, I'll risk it. I get a lot more money than what I'm going to have to pay out. So people are coming off those non-disclosures.
All right, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Thank you so much for being with us.